Hello, folks. Good morning. This is Shwani here. Welcome you to today's market update. Today, we will quickly go through what are the news available, and then we'll go from there, share some screens about the SPY, the QQQ and the IWM, and some of the major stocks like Apple, Tesla, and all those things. Okay. So let me quickly go through the news. The first thing that we are looking at it. Like there is a threat of war where Russia trying to invade the Ukraine and Russia trying to invade the Ukraine, and then we are looking at China invading the Taiwan, which is not very good. And also today we see that live markets bears in charge due to inflation worry. This is one of the best sites where you can get finviz.com, where we can get all the information that is available for today. So we see that, we see them not many major events, but we see we have the Boris Johnson handed probate report and all those things. But one of the major things that we are seeing is the Netflix. Netflix has fallen down a lot, and it might be due for a correction. So it fell from 700 to 350. And it has been bought over by the major hedge fund, and it has been provided some life. So we might see a rise in it, and we will see the stock where it is right now. So let's start with the market analysis. First, starting with SPY. So this is my trend spider, folks, and I know it's a little bit crowded, but what I want to talk today about is where the spider is, this is on the weekly chart. Let's look at the weekly chart because the daily charts are a little bit crowded. We want to get a long-term view of SPYs, right? So this is the weekly chart. I just expanded it. If you look at it, I've drawn the trend lines on both on the upside as well as on the downside. So if you look here, it has gone through this. So what happened last week was it went into the moving average 50 and then it went up. So this doesn't mean that we are out of trouble, folks. As we said, it is above, it closed above 439 on the first week. Now we have to see if it will hold on for the, as I always say, we have to see, we get a 2-unit confirmation. Since it's a weekly chart, we want to see that it's a second week confirmation. So what is it going to happen? Is it going to move fast to the 20-day moving average, which is the next moving average, which is at 455, as you see here, or it will go and it will come down, or is it going to go up? So also from the Elliott wave theory, what I see is this is the first wave which has been formed, and we need to have at least a 3-wave correction. So I'm looking at the 37.5, which is the minimum, which is at 446.47, or we should look at the 62.5, which is at 459.87. So if you look at that, if it has to go to 459.87, according to Ichimoku, it has to go both at the conversion and the baseline. And we are looking at moving average 10. So that is one thing we have to really think about. So moving average 10 is at 459.93. So we might look at these areas, and then we might have another fall. If you look at here, it didn't yet touch the cloud at any point of time. So it is like it is still up. So what we might look at is if we have drawn another trend line with the lower, with the troughs. And if you look at it, it's right now at 410, 48. This is where it is coinciding with the bottom of the cloud, the Ichimoku cloud. So definitely there's a move back up here or here. I don't know where it has to go to the bottom of the cloud, but how far it will rebound before it is getting there is the question. Is it to 446.97 or 459.97? Again, guys, this is a very short move and the volatility will be very high. So play according to this position. One thing I wanted to tell you, all this information provided is for informational purposes only. It's my own analysis here. And I would don't take this as as a financial advice or anything like that. Use your own, you can use this information for your decisions, but you are solely responsible for your decisions. Okay, I just wanted to bring that up. So we have seen SPY. So we might see this week a little bit of uptrend. So with this results of Google, AMD coming up, okay? So we might see an upward move there. And that's one thing I wanted to talk about. Next, let's look at, let's lower down this. And let's look at QQQ, which is the NASDAQ, which has been brutally going down, right? So if you look at, again, I want to look at only the weekly chart so that I get a clear idea. So if you look at the weekly chart, it has gone below the moving average 50, it's at 358, and it's at this one, and it has gone to a low of 334. So 334, so what I am thinking is, again, this has to go to the bottom of the cloud. So again, I'm expecting this move. Since it has formed a green candle touching the bottom of the cloud, it wants to go to the conversion. The conversion is the next level. So the conversion is at 369.37 and the baseline is at 371.43. So what we are looking at is from a low of, where is that? The low is formed at 334.15. So we are looking at 343, 352, and then the 362. So the 362 could be a like 362 that area. So I definitely don't expect it to go to 372, but somewhere around 362, 368 area, 367 area where the conversion is. So we might see a quick move to the conversion before it falls down to the next level. So let's quickly look where the next trend line is so that we can get an idea where this could go, right? So let me, Trend Spider, sorry guys, this is a little bit crowded, but that's fine. I'm going to remove this. Looking at some of the areas where it could go. So let's look here. So if you see here, we are looking at 304, 304, 296 for this one. So this is the next trend line if it breaks through this. So there is a possibility of going up to this one and this one, so it is in between. So whether it will hit, maybe it will hit 390 and then come back here. So that is what we have to see. So there is an upper trend line here. So let's see what happens on the QQQ. But definitely look for the areas of 362 where the next moving average is at. If it but first it has to cross the moving average 50. If it crosses that, we are looking at the next moving average, which is at 20, which is 380.52. Now the reason why we are saying it is bearish is, if you see that moving average 10 is below moving average, but on the weekly it is still not below the moving average 10, and so it is still not extremely bearish, but on the daily charts it definitely looks bearish. But if you're looking at a long-term view, it is better to look at the daily chart where the moving average 10 is still above the moving average 50. Okay, so I just wanted to bring that up and show you that. So that is why I feel there is a one more wave of uptrend before it goes to the lower of 299, and from there we might get up. Okay, so just wanted to, this is based on the Elliott wave, 3 wave. I might be wrong, but based on the previous experiences, that's what I feel. So take a close look at it and see if it goes above this line, which is the moving average. Which one is it? 358.58. See if it can survive it or it still falls down. Okay, that's what we are talking about. So the next one is the IWM, which is for the small caps. I'm looking at it again. I want to go to the weekly chart here. This one is pretty good. It has already touched the cloud. This has been brutally on the weekly chart. It has been going down so much. Look at this wave. It has been going. So let me see if it formed a 3 wave or if it like upper wave. So if I draw a line from here, a Fibonacci, so where is it? If you see here, it has already touched the 37 and this is the third wave. So the third wave and it has touched. So definitely when it comes to the lower of this Ichimoku, if you take the Ichimoku, the good part is there's only 4 resistances, right? So you're seeing here, it touched the 1.6, it touched the bottom of the cloud. So the next resistance will be around the 216.28, or the baseline, the conversion is at 207 and the baseline is at 216. And that's what we are seeing, and the top of the cloud is at 221. So these are the areas that we need to look at. So possibility is it can go up to the bottom of the top of the cloud And but the one thing you need to look at in all the three charts is the cloud looks very positive on the weekly chart. Whereas if you see on the daily chart, the lead span B is above the lead span A, whereas on the weekly chart it looks bullish. But having said that, the daily charts make the first move, and it is looking very, very bearish. You see that it is going up. This does not mean that it has to go up, but how long will it take? So if you look here, there is a possibility that it can go up to the top of the cloud, which is at 227, or even here 219 on the daily chart. So okay, but we don't know what is the long view, but we are now only talking about the next wave. But what happens if it's still going after it touches the cloud? Does it have the legs to go further up, or it has legs to go further down? Is the question. But it all depends upon the moving averages alignment. What happens if moving average 10 goes below moving average 20 on the weekly charts too? Then we are looking at a little bearish scenario. Having said that, the next wave is like around moving average 200 here, which is around 173. So that could be a possibility of getting to 173.89. So that is what we are saying. So go layer out, see, this time I'm trying to keep my sanity by looking at the charts and telling me, hey, what is this thing? What is the next support and the resistances, instead of thinking too far. Okay, so that's what I would suggest. So having looked at all those three things, definitely it looks like for me a second wave, which is a very which is not a great place to be, but it could give us a little bit of release bounce. But if not, it might straight go down to the moving average 200. Before it bounces from the moving average 50. So that is what we need to wait and see. So, but definitely all the indices are very close to the moving average 50 and are trying to break that and go to moving average 20 or 10, which is the next moving average. Having said that, let's look at some of the charts like Apple. So the Apple is like, if you look at this weekly chart, I just wanted to show you, it broke through this trend line, the lower trend line, which is good, which I had drawn from, why is this showing? Let's see this. Maybe I didn't draw this properly. So what I'm trying to see is from here to here, where is it going? Right? So this is the next low, and I'm going here. Yes, this looks good. So basically, it has gone from here to here, and the next target is around somewhere here, right? So it has gone to the 37.5. So what is happening is 29.147. So it didn't go there. So, but it did touch 37.5. So we might have a few weeks before it can get to 200. Is that possible? Yes, it could, but it looks very good in the long run, but it has a lot of time to reach this 137.5 area where the trend line is. Okay, so because it has fallen for 4 weeks, it will take at least, if you see here, what I like about the trend, it will tell you how many candles are left. So if it has to go here, it has to have 600. So definitely Apple is looking at this one. So that's a very good, and if you look at it, it has closed above the cloud today. So definitely that's also, but the problem is it has completed 90 Gann degrees from the low of 154.70 already. So we might see some retracements because it has went from moving average 20 to moving average 20 was around 159, and right now moving average 10 is 170. So if it stays above moving average 10 and 20, then we are looking at a bullish scenario, and it might go up. It can go up. So we have to see this week where it closes. Okay, that's what it is. But definitely, it looks like it has some time to go to 200. Definitely, that's what it is looking for. The next one I want to look at is the Tesla. So Tesla looks bearish. Definitely, you see here, it went to a high, it reached this trend line, and it is going down. It has broken through this trend line. So where am I seeing? The next stop is the moving average 50, which I've been telling, have been drumming last week completely, which is at around 789. So once it touches it, it should go down. But what I am thinking is if it touches this, it needs to go further down to touch the cloud, because if it is purely from the Ichimoku perspective, it has gone from 1,946. So will it go to 700 is the question. So from the 700, we might see some bounce, okay? So that is what I'm thinking, or even to the bottom of the cloud. So how much it is going down is the question, or it is going to bounce from the moving average 50, which is very, very much possible, because when it went up, the moving average 20 was around 969.55, and this one went there and touched it, and then it fell down. So the next one is moving average 50, so that is at 790. So we have to see if it will go there or the, but the crucial part is if it goes below moving average 50, then we are looking at the most worst part is the moving average 200. This is why the bears of the Tesla are like hitting drum rolls saying that it could go down a lot. So I sincerely wish it should not go below moving average 50. But if it goes below, there's a possibility that the next one is moving average 100, which is 588. So this could be possible. So we should see around 600. If it breaks down to that, we should see 332. So these are the levels that you want to remember for. But if you see on the daily chart, it has touched the moving average 200, which is at 813.34, and it has been going up. So the next target will be, and it went over the, if it stays above this, then we are looking at, we are looking at 934, which is the moving average 10, right? So 925. So that's a possibility that it can go there with this uptrend, because that is not coinciding with the moving average 20 on the weekly chart. So what I would suggest is the way to look at it is look at a long-term weekly chart and see if long-term positions and see if it has any move on the daily chart. So on the daily chart, we are looking at around 931 because that is where the moving average 10 is, because it is going from the 200. So the next one is like around the simple moving average 10 is 944, which is much, much below moving average 20. So we are looking at 944 for now for this one, because it closed 2 days above the moving average 200 and it wants to go there. So always play, one thing we can always say, this is always seems to be working. When it crosses a particular moving average, it tends to go to the next moving average, which is moving average 10 or something, which is the lowest. So you can play always with a 2-unit confirmation and do this. Okay, I just wanted to bring that up. Then the next one I wanted to talk about is, let's talk about Google, because Google has earnings this week. Definitely Google also has a very good, Google has been going up and up, but we have to see where it is. So it just crossed through, if you look here, it has crossed through the moving average 50 on the daily. See, the moving average 50, which is at 2,608. Then the next top is like around, if you see the next moving average, which is around 2,812. So that is where we are looking at it. So it has results on Feb 1st, and we might see a move quickly there and then fall down back, right? I never said that it's a bullish, but we have to, unless it crosses through all these moving averages and shows some upbeat, that's where we can see some big move. But I don't think that is going to happen, okay? So that's what it is. Then the next one I wanted to talk about, so we talked about Apple, we talked about Google, we talked about Tesla. The Netflix, let's give a little bit indication. So Netflix is positioning very, very well. It's at 384. When Ackman bought this, it goes very fast, but it has a lot of time in it. It has fallen for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks, right? So we are going to see a very slow move. The first step will be this moving average 200, which is at 427. If it crosses this, the next one is at 513. Let us see this. I'm sorry, I wish I could make this better, but the next one is at 499, which is moving average 50. So it goes, but look at this, it's all very crowded around the 500 area. So it is like, and that is where this line of resistance is coming up. So the 505, the trend line. So we are looking at this area for the Netflix. So for a long time, it has to beat this. Unless it beats this up and goes up, we wouldn't be seeing a lot of move. So definitely take a look at this for. So it has a lot of more time, maybe 5 to 6 weeks, 4 to 5 weeks to get to that level even. Okay, which might be $100 move and make a significant, profits on that. And now the next one I wanted to talk about is FB. For the SB, it's looking very, very bearish, which is below the cloud, number one. It is already below the cloud. And it is like, you are seeing this, see the moving average 50 is around 328, and it went below that. And this is, again, in the pre-market, this is like, weekly charts don't show the pre-market, but this is 328. Now, that is not a very good sign. So if it has closed below moving average 50, and then it has also closed, what is the next one? Is the moving average 100, which is at 285, and then the moving average 200, which is at 230. So I'm hoping, so let's see quickly, where is this guy heading? But let's draw a trend line and see, is there an upward move, if at all it takes, where could it go? So if I'm drawing from this line, there is a possibility that it can go to the top of the cloud, right? The top of the cloud here, it is intersecting, which is 344. So that is exactly coinciding with the next earnings. If you see this book, it's amazing. The technical analysis sometimes can give us a good indication of where it is going for this. Okay, so I just wanted to, so I would not play this. Maybe it has gone up here, so you might see a little bit more up to 308. Or, let's look at the daily chart. The daily chart is at 320.86 is the baseline. So that means we might see a little bit more up to 311, and then which might be coinciding with the bottom of the cloud, and then we might see a little bit more move to the downside, I feel. So because there's a lot of time to get here. Okay, that's one thing I wanted to talk about. Then once we have done this, let's go to the next one, which is what is the next one? Which is the next one? We talked about Apple, we talked about Netflix, Amazon, the last one of the FANGs. So the FANGs here, look at this, it is 2 weeks below this moving average, which is at 3332, which is at 3332, and we are like going down this line. We are going down this line to, we might see a rebound here to 3114, and then we will go down to 2447. So I don't see a lot of move. So definitely this is the area that we need to look at. So that is also coinciding with the baseline, which is at 3093. So this is the exact line that we are talking about here. So unless it crosses these lines, but it doesn't look that great so far, unless we see something changing in the next few days. So having said that, let's look at the crypto market a little bit so that we know what is going on in that one. So let's look at the BTC, which is one of the oldest coins, and where is it heading to. So BTC, if you look at it, it is like, it has already reached the bottom of the cloud, and it is not, so the trend line here, we are looking at the first trend line, which is at 29,363. But what I'm really, really concerned about here is it has gone from a low of 29. You see here, it has gone from a low of 29,313 to 68, which is an important GAN resistance. And now I see this going at least 90 degrees below. So that means we are looking at this trend line, which is at around 23. So we might see BTC going to 23. And then once it goes there, what is the next step? You see this trend line on the top, which is at 72 area. So we might see a move to, so what I'm expecting is if this Fibonacci holds, we might see this going to breaking through this trend line and going to 90. So there is a big move coming in, but we got to be patient with this. We should expect this to go to 23, and then we can see this big move. So on the daily chart, if you see this, it's looking very, it is below, let's look at the moving average 10, it's below the moving average 20, and it is looking not very good. So the moving average 20 is the resistance there, and we might see it fall further. So definitely, whenever there's a big move, there'll be also a big fall, folks. We've seen it repeatedly multiple times with Upstart, everything that we have seen, okay? So this is also, I'm expecting in the same line. So that's about it. So we have all these things. So we covered BTC, we covered. One thing I wanted to talk about is ADA. If you look at ADA, we are looking at this one, it's going, it's still bearish. You see this? This one is very bearish. It is going down. So, which is not a good sign. It has already gone below the, if you look at it, it started from a low of 1.21. So 1.02, and then it is going to, it went to a high of 309. So it completed 90 degrees. So I don't know, this looks like is it going to 2 cents? That is what I have no, or is it like, I'm sorry, I don't know, but it looks like it is going from 309, and if I take a 180 degrees from here, or 135 degrees, which is 209, 109, and 9 cents. So will it go to 9 cents? Is the question. But I don't know where we are heading to, but it definitely looks bearish here. It has gone below this line. So, but if it catches up from here, it can go to a height of $5. That's what it looks like. So let's see what happens with this. It definitely is not looking good at this moment, but definitely I am expecting this to go to $5 in the near future. Okay, that's all I have for you guys today. Definitely we went through all the scare things. So hopefully I'll see you in the next video.